The following example is a bill of material report that has floating headers and includes multi-lines. We print it to the B2 WinSuite device. When we preview it, we see that it needs some design before it can be transferred smoothly to Excel. This main item that appears as a subheader ruins the tabular look and needs to become a column in order that we get a fine sheet. Same applies to the description. We also have data in multiple lines, like the effective date and the expiry date. It needs special handling before we can transfer to Excel. We use B2 Design. First, we define the main header of the table. We highlight the header using the right arrow. As you can see, the right preview has now changed. Next, we will handle the item. We define it as a floating header that can appear anywhere in the report. We define the label of the floating header and the value of the label. We then define what to do with the floating header. If we wish to make a new column out of it, we choose Pivot Down. We can also keep it or remove part of it. Floating headers can be very handy. For totals, for example, we can just use Pivot Up. Because we have chosen the Pivot Down option, the item was inserted as an additional column in the design preview. Same can be done for the item description. We can rename the column name to reflect the new naming needed. Our next challenge is to turn fields in multiple lines to different columns in the resulting sheet. We choose the multi-line feature and then assign an anchor, which is a unique character that appears in the first line only, a slash in this case. We define the area as a multi-line area with a maximum of 2 lines. Looking at the right side, we enlarge the screen and see how the multi-line data became columns. We can rearrange columns with drag and drop. We rename the headers titles. We delete unnecessary columns, split columns, and force data types to keep leading zeros and keep date formatting. When we print the report into Excel, this is what we get. Item and item description were pivoted and became columns. Multi-line data become 2 columns next to each other. Leading zero is kept because we set the data type to text. Are you ready to get maximum control over your ERP output? Contact us today.